The Sports Source is brought to you by Fast Frame. Shadow boxes come with a lifetime guarantee.
You are watching East Tennessee's first and only year-round sports talk show on television. This is The Sports Source with your host, John Pennington.
Good Sunday morning and welcome into the Sports Source. Happy to have you with us on this, the top-rated sports show in East Tennessee, which we appreciate you for making us. Happy Halloween last night in Lexington for Tennessee. Just a rout, a complete and total rout of Kentucky, 52-21 the score. We'll break it all down, including that Emmanuel Mosley play that everybody's talking about this morning. We'll talk about all that stuff. Let's get started. First segment of our show brought to you by Phil Cobble, Fine Homes and Land. No one moves more property than Phil and his team. If you want to list your home, go with the group that has all the technology, like this show, the promotional outlets to market your home. Put your home right here on this show. An interior designer on staff to help you with that open house. That brings more money back to you. And then top flight negotiation skills. Phil and his team, more than $350 million in property moves since 1980. And right now is the time to list your home because everybody likes to buy a home when there's Christmas decorations up. Put the decorations up and it's easier to sell a home. Call Phil Cobble, Fine Homes and Land this week to learn more. All right, I want to welcome in we got three VFLs here to start this first segment. We got Daniel Hood, former Vol defensive lineman, Will Overstreet, former Vol defensive lineman, Jimmy Himes, Knoxville's radio long-time king star maker, hit maker.
They won't let me in the VFL club.
There we got Jacob Gillum back with us, former Vol offensive lineman. All right. As I said, just a total rout, complete. And so moving that game up didn't turn out to make much difference at all in the in Tennessee's victory. All three phases dominated. Maybe the first time that we've seen that in an SEC game where all three phases had such outstanding nights. In the last year or two, we haven't seen that. Your thoughts on the total victory? We'll start up here on this end and work our way down.
I think it just starts with played complementary football for the first time this year between offense, defense, and special teams. You've seen, finally, we had big plays in offense, big plays defense, big plays special teams. I mean, we had the interception, we did take back for a touchdown. We had the two kick returns. We had the big pass. First game of the year with the receiver over 100 yards. So, finally, complementary football led to a big win in Kentucky.
Will Overstreet.
I think the greatest thing about that game was the back and forth of when they got a big play, scored points, especially in this third quarter, we came right back with a kickoff return for a touchdown. I think that's the great thing about this game is you saw that counter-punching ability where Kentucky got a great play, then this group was not finally stunned or kind of, oh no, what's going to happen? They came right back and made a play against those guys. So I thought that was a great step for them. And then just overall, watching this team get a little bit better each and every week, I think you continue to see that. So it's good to see the defensive line since the Alabama game. Who would have thought they start playing better in the Alabama game and then they get better now? But they're definitely improving.
The whole trick was just get rid of Majit and Phillip. I mean, Tuttle. I'm sorry. I mean, who would have thought? You're right. I mean, you're looking at it saying, "Oh gosh, now Tuttle's out." And that seems to be kind of a turning point. Corey Vereen especially has come to play.
Yeah.
Jimmy, how's your thought on the victory yesterday?
I like the answers that Tennessee had early because Kentucky starts out with this long fumble recovery return, then Dobbs answers with a touchdown. Then Kentucky comes back and takes a 14-10 lead, and then Dobbs answers with a touchdown pass to Malone. I like that. And when those plays happened early for Kentucky, I thought Tennessee's going to be in for a dogfight all night. And I was wrong. And Tennessee special teams took over. I think they've done a marvelous job with their special teams. They had some people showing up like Darren Kirkland Jr. making plays. You mentioned Vereen coming through and making plays. And I was surprised at that kind of a performance because usually teams after they play Alabama and a Nick Saban team, we'd run they're 21-25. And I thought, boy, it's going to be hard for Tennessee to get back up. They played fantastic.
Jacob Gillum.
I think you're just seeing the maturity of the football team come together. I think the past couple of games you've seen it building in the way they responded after the bye week playing Alabama. I think you saw all that kind of culminate in this Kentucky game. There wasn't any phase we had that we didn't play exceptionally well in. As everybody said, special teams, offense, defense. We played a complete game for the first time this season, and I think you're seeing the team get ready to hit their stride.
We talked about the big plays. I think we can get a look at some of these things that came up in yesterday's game. The 28-yard touchdown run for Dobbs, 75-yard pass from Dobbs to Malone, 63-yard run from Kamara to set up a touchdown, 37-yard screen pass Dobbs to Hurd, and Hurd just showed speed, vision, whole 9 yards on that one. 100-yard kick return from Barry and the 84-yard punt return from Cam Sutton. And right there, as you mentioned, I thought Kentucky, it looked like Tennessee was losing a little bit of focus on defense. And you got the big play from Barry and you got the big play from Sutton, and it really seemed to slam the door. I think it took the energy out of Kentucky that if they could have made a comeback after those returns, you can forget about it.
Well, a special teams touchdown always takes the air out of the team, another team. I mean, it's no matter what, you can see the air go out. Even if you're winning by a couple of touchdowns, a special teams touchdown makes you think, oh no, here comes the route.
Well, you've worked all the way down the field. You've scratched and clawed to get down the field, and then one play it's taken back from you. Let me ask you this. It's the thing about Tennessee. They remember what you do in November. Traditionally, one of the reasons people remembered what they did in November is because Tennessee always has a front-loaded schedule. So let's factor this in now. I don't think Kentucky is a great football team, but I think what you are seeing, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong here, I think you're seeing where Tennessee's roster is getting to the point where maturity and depth still a little bit of an issue against the big boys. These teams that have one loss on the season or are undefeated on the season, but they're starting to separate from the lower level a little bit. Do you think that's fair to say, or is it too early to say they're starting to separate? You want to see how they do against Carolina, Missouri, and Vandy first?
I still want to see how they do to finish the season, but it's still a great sight to see because that's 2 years in a row that you just absolutely destroyed Kentucky. And to be able to do that means that you're recruiting better than them and you're turning around and developing the players better than them. You still got, inefficiencies against Alabama, Oklahoma, and those guys, but again, you got to beat the guys you recruit better than, and then you got to recruit better to beat the other guys.
I say they pulled away just because speed on the field. I mean, you look at that. Right now, if you look at South Carolina, they don't have much speed on the field. They kind of look like us a few years ago. Kentucky, clearly we were faster than them in a lot of phases of the game, and I think you see that for Vanderbilt. So I think as far as the bottom half, yes, we pulled away just because of talent players. Does that mean you're going to win all those games? Not necessarily, but on the field talent and speed, which is what we didn't have for a long time, it's definitely pulled away from the bottom half.
I think Tennessee's pulled away too, and I'm going to point to a big reason I think so is that's because of the defense. Kentucky's defense isn't very good. Neither is South Carolina. South Carolina's gave up to an A&M quarterback who hadn't started yet, 220-something yards passing and over 150 rushing. South Carolina's defense and Kentucky don't play now. Vanderbilt's gotten better, but I think that's one of the differences. And the thing we hadn't talked about, I thought Tennessee's defense in that first half was pretty good.
Yeah.
There were 6 possessions by Kentucky. They scored 1 touchdown on those possessions, and there were several 3-and-outs.
Had to convert another 4th down, and once again it was a situation where they rushed the passer, couldn't get him on the ground. He escapes, he gets the first down, and that wound up leading to the touchdown. But yes, the one touchdown that they did get on their own defense, the deep one, the long one, 77 yards, only 1 offensive touchdown for Kentucky in the first half. Jacob, thoughts on this roster and where it stands in the SEC right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think roster-wise we've pulled away from the bottom half of the conference. I think that you're going to see as 2 more years get down the road, we have more recruiting, better recruiting. You're going to see these guys we've had in there already in the system now. That's been one system, and you don't have any more coaching changes, and that's just going to build more and more maturity and just really better teams, not just better players, but it's going to build better teams.
Also looked like last night, and again, Kentucky, by that point, they were kind of throwing in the towel, but you look at guys like John Kelly. You're starting to see third stringers at Tennessee again where you go, looks pretty good. It's been a while since you looked at Tennessee and went 3 deep and said, that guy doesn't look too bad.
It's been a while since the third team was able to get on the field because
for the right
another
reasons.
team.
That's right. All right. Hey, by the way, I want to remind you that later in the show we are going to answer your Twitter questions. You see the Twitter address right below my pen right there. Send us your Twitter questions. Our panel of VFLs will answer them in the show, and we'll answer just about all of them in our overtime segment online later today. When we come back, some surprising numbers about Tennessee's offense, and then also which third-year SEC coach has the most upside. You might be surprised at some numbers. Come on back.